So if people go to the Caribbean to get treated, are they getting anything worthwhile?
No, because if something worked, we would use it. And that's the point, right? Your doctor, presumably, is one, not a psychopath, and two, has your best interests at heart. If there was something that worked, they would use it. The people who travel, well, there's people who travel for two reasons. There's people, yeah. Yeah. The problem is that they're going, and this happened to actually a relative of mine. They were in Greece. They suffered. They had brain cancer. They went for surgery, radiation, and then they went to Germany to this private clinic for this special immunotherapy thing, and it didn't work because, of course, these things never work. When you're going and paying at a country, you're going to these private clinics. They're basically selling you a product, and they unfortunately tend to sell hope to people who are dying, who have these chronic conditions for which there is no very good therapy, because they know that people who are dying will try anything, because that's a very rational thing to do. The reason why I do this, and I think the reason why both of we do this, is that because when you're desperate, you don't have the ability to discriminate. And so the reason we don't use these things in the medical community is because very often they don't work. If they worked, we would use them, right? Your doctor is never going to let you die if he can save your life. So that's my takeaway message. If these things worked, we would be using them here.
I made a video called Gauntlet, which got over 3,400 views. I was very surprised. And essentially I showed the gauntlet that a new treatment has to run successfully before it becomes part of clinical practice. And so, you start on cells in a petri dish, and then if it works, then you transfer it to animals. And if it still works, then you go to phase 1 trials in humans, and phase 2, and then phase 3, and then finally comes to clinic. The problem with all of these experimental treatments in clinics, whether they're in Germany or in the Caribbean, is often that they'll take a basic research finding in a petri dish, and they'll go, here, I'm going to give this to a human being. And you can't do that, because most treatments fail to run this gauntlet. That's why we have this gauntlet. That's why we progressively move up the chain all the way to phase 3 humans. But a lot of these people who are selling these novel cures to desperate people are going to go, well, see, there's a paper on this. It was shown in petri dishes, or it was shown in the zebrafish. And it's like, yeah, but has it proved its worth in humans? No, it hasn't. And that's why we don't use it in clinical practice.